It's 7 o'clock at WWRR Scranton Wilkes-Barre.
Hello? Who is this?
Fred Krueger.
Michael Myers.
Hi, I'm Chucky.
I am Dracula.
Tonight, Joe E. Kramer presents the Decades of the Dead Halloween Spectacular. Now, here's your host, Joe E. Kramer.
Yes, it is I, Joe E. Kramer, and the Decades of the Dead Halloween show we do every single year. Getting ready for Halloween tomorrow, or it's not tomorrow, Monday. Monday's Halloween, right? So tonight we're going to do all kind of Halloween music. A lot of stuff you don't hear all the time on the radio. You'll hear it tonight on Decades. We have a very special guest with us, Mr. Mark Nesbitt. He is a author and, of course, the founder of the Ghosts of Gettysburg. So we're going to talk to Mark about the Ghosts of Gettysburg. He's also a paranormal investigator and a little Civil War. Because one of the most haunted places, if not the most haunted places on Earth, of course, is Gettysburg here in Pennsylvania. So Mark Nesbitt will be with us. It'll be a ghoulish time. That's so corny, isn't it? Singing with the Sam later, we're going to conquer a classic. She'll be doing the doo-wops. I'll be doing the Drac. And we'll talk about that in a little bit. And, of course, Hairspray at 8. A Halloween version of Hairspray at 8 tonight. So get ready. And away we go, right? It is the Decades of the Dead Halloween Spectacular of Music. DJ Jazzy Jeff, The Fresh Prince, A Nightmare on My Street.
Now I have a story that I'd like to tell about this guy. You all know me as me scared as hell. He comes to me at night after I crawl into bed. He's burnt up like a weenie and his name is Fred. He wears the same hat and sweater every single day. And even if it's hot outside, he wears it anyway. He's gone when I'm awake, but he shows up when I'm asleep. I can't believe that there's a nightmare on my street. If I remember it right, and we had just gotten back off tour last night. So the gang and I thought that it would be groovy if we summoned up the posse and dumb rush the movies. I got Angie, Jeff got Tina, Reddy Rock got some girl I've never seen in my life. That was alright because the lady was chill. Then we dipped to the theater set to ill. We saw Elm Street and man it was death. And everything seemed alright when we left. But when I got home and laid down to sleep, that began the nightmare, but on my street. It was burning in my room like an oven. My bed soaked with sweat, and man, I was bugging. I checked the clock, it had stopped at 12:30. It had melted, it was so darn hot, and I was thirsty. I went downstairs to grab some juice or a Coke, flipped the TV off, and then I almost choked when I heard this awful voice coming from behind. It said, "You broke off David Letterman, now you must die." Man, I ain't even wait to see who it was. Broke outside in my drawers and screamed so long, cuz got halfway up the block, I calmed down and stopped screaming, then thought, oh, I get it, I must be dreaming. I strolled back home with a grin on my grill. I figured since this is a dream, I might as well get ill. I walked in the house, the big bad Fresh Prince, but Freddy killed all that noise real quick. He grabbed me by my neck and said, "Here's what we'll do. We got a lot of work here, me and you. The souls of your friends you and I will claim. You've got the body and I got the brain." I said, "Yo, Fred, I think you got me all wrong. I ain't partners with nobody with nails that long. Look, I'll be honest, man, this team won't work. The girls won't be on you, Fred, your face is all burned." I pat him on the shoulder, said thanks for stopping by. Then I opened up the door and said, "Take care, guy." He got mad, drew back his arm, and slashed my shirt. I laughed at first and thought, hold up, that hurt. It wasn't a dream, man, this guy was for real. I said, "Freddy, pal, it's been an awful mistake here." No further words, and then I darted upstairs, crashed through my door, then jumped on my bed. Pulled the covers up over my head, said, "Oh, please do something with Fred." He jumped on my bed, but through the covers with his claws, tried to get me. But my alarm went off and then silence. It was a whole new day. I thought, I wasn't scared of him anyway, until I noticed those rips in my sheets, and that was proof that there had been a nightmare on my street. Oh man, I gotta call Jeff. Come on. Come on, Jeff, answer! Come on, man.
Hello?
Jeff, it's Prince, man. Jeff, wake up. Jeff, wake up.
What do you want?
Jeff, wake up, man. Listen to me, Jeff.
It's 3 o'clock
Jeff,
in the morning.
listen,
What do
Jeff,
you
would you
want?
listen to me? Whatever you do, don't fall asleep. Jeff, listen to me. Don't go to
I'll
sleep,
talk to
Jeff.
you tomorrow. I'm going to bed.
The Decades of the Dead with Joe E. Kramer.
All you zombies,
of the Dead. Halloween spectacular of music. I can't believe it's already Halloween. Before you know it, it's going to be Christmas. We'll be starting our Christmas music here. Oh, the days just go by and by. Halloween, of course, on Monday. So we're doing our Decades of the Dead Halloween spectacular of music tonight. Now, Mark Nesbitt will be with us tonight. Usually we have the paranormal investigators at the Poconos. They were unable to do it this year. Next year, they will be back. I promise you. So tonight, Mark Nesbitt, paranormal investigator and author of The Ghosts of Gettysburg, will join us after 9 o'clock. The Decades of the Dead. Rockwell, Somebody's Watching Me.
I'm just an average man with an average life. I work from 9 to 5. Hey, hell, I pay the price. All I want is to be left alone in my average home. But why do I always feel like I'm in the twilight zone? And I always feel like somebody's watching me, and I have no privacy. Oh, I always feel like somebody's watching me. Tell me, is it just a dream? When I come home at night, I lock the door real tight. People call me on the phone, I'm trying to avoid. But can the people on TV see me, or am I just paranoid? When I'm in the shower, I'm afraid to wash my hair, 'cause I might open my eyes and find someone standing there. People say I'm crazy, just a little touched, but maybe showers remind me of psycho too much. That's why I always feel like somebody's watching me, and I have no privacy. Oh, I always feel like somebody's watching me, who's playing tricks on me. I don't know anymore. Are the neighbors watching me? Well, it's the mailman watching me. And I don't feel safe anymore. Oh, what a mess. I wonder who's watching me now. The IRS? I always feel like somebody's watching me, and I have no privacy. Oh, I always feel like somebody's watching me. Tell me, is it just a dream? I always feel like somebody's watching me, and I have no privacy. Oh, I always feel like somebody's watching me, who's playing tricks on me. I always feel like somebody's watching me. Oh, I always feel like somebody's watching me. Tell me who can it be? Who's watching me? I always feel like somebody's watching me. Oh, I always feel like somebody's watching me, who's playing tricks on me.
The Decades of the Dead with Joe E. Kramer.
People say I'm crazy and I make no sense, but they don't understand the man's got influence. He's a gigolo alive, a man of many faces. So don't be fooled by what you think you see. He's gonna waiting for the moment, for that connecting friend. To make a move, we've got to keep real still. We're waiting here and we're dressed up to kill. Fright night, who's it gonna be tonight? Lock your doors and windows tight. Soon you'll all believe I'm right. We're all in for almost frightening night. Who's it gonna be tonight? Lock your doors and windows tight. Soon you'll all believe I'm
Total Reach Radio. This is Decades, the Decades of the Dead. Halloween spectacular music. There's one you don't hear every day, obviously. Fright Night. That was on the Fright Night soundtrack. Chris Sarandon, William Ragsdale, Amanda Beers, Stephen Jeffries, Rodney McDowell. The original Fright Night, no doubt. Not the remake, the original one. And Jay Giles Band. And they're one of the nominees for the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame this year. If you go to rockandrollhalloffame.com /vote, the nominees are up there right now. Bad Brain, Shaka Khan, Chic, Depeche Mode, ELO, the Electric Light Orchestra, Jay Giles Band, Jane's Addiction, Janet Jackson, Joan Baez, Joe Tex, Journey, Kraftwerk, MC5. No idea who MC5 is. Pearl Jam, Steppenwolf, The Cars, The Zombies, Tupac Shakur, and Yes are your nominees. Rockandroll.com. Did I say Rock and Roll Hall of Fame? Rockandroll.com /vote. You can do that now. The Decades of the Dead Halloween Spectacular of Music tonight. We have Mark Nesbitt, who is a paranormal investigator and author of The Ghosts of Gettysburg. He has great stories about different ghosts, especially of the Civil War. The most haunted place on earth is right here in Pennsylvania, only about 2 hours away. It's a great place to visit, and we'll talk to Mr. Nesbitt after 9 o'clock, Singing with the Sam tonight, Hairspray at 8 tonight, and a whole lot of Halloween music, I guess you could call it. It has to do with Halloween. Oingo Boingo on the way. Ministry. We're going to do some Dead or Alive. Pete Burns passed away this past week, if you haven't heard, age of 57 from an apparent heart attack. We're going to try to do something by Dead or Alive just because of their name. I mean, that's cool enough, right? Squirrel Nut Zippers and more. It's the Decades of the Dead right here. Decades on 105 The River, 104.9 and 100.7 FM, 1340 AM around the world at 105theriver.net. Decades with JoeEKramer.com and the Radio Bold app. We will be right back.
Come out, wherever you are.
Telling me now you're some kind of witch or what?
I don't want to be a freak, but I can't help myself.
You are a freak!
The Decades of the Dead with Joe E. Kramer.
For the serious strife. Now you make the scene all day, but tomorrow they'll be held to pay. In the afterlife, you could be headed for the serious strife. Now you make the scene all day, but tomorrow they'll be held to pay. The people listen attentively. I mean about future calamity. I used to think the idea was obsolete until I heard the old man stamping his feet. Where eternally fire is applied to the body. Teeth are extruded and burned to ground and baked into cakes which are passed around. In the afterlife, you could be headed for the serious life. Now you make the scene all day.
to get you, Barbara.
The Decades of the Dead with Joe E. Kramer.
This can't be happening. So much I can't explain. There's a logical explanation for everything. Down dark in alleyways, somebody calls my name. But if you need to reach me, you can call me. This is where I'll be. Transylvania 6. Transylvania 6. Transylvania 6. 5,000. Transylvania 6. Our shadow silhouettes, a shape I can't forget, creeps into my room at night and disappears. A piercing, bloody scream. It's a bad dream, shit from a bad dream. But if you need to reach me, you can call me. This is where I'll be. Transylvania 6. 5,000. Transylvania 6. Transylvania 6. 5,000. Transylvania 6.
Number, please. Operator, could you put me through to TR 65000?
Nervous, I ain't scared. Silver cross, silver bullets, got to be prepared. Transylvania 6. 5,000. Transylvania 6.
Total Reach Radio, The Decades of the Dead. Transylvania 6 5000. That was from the movie. Jeff Goldblum was in that movie. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, I'm actually going to look it up right now. Was Gene Wilder in that movie too, I believe? 1985. Let's look. No, wrong movie. Jeff Goldblum and Ed Begley Jr. were in that movie. Gina Davis was in that movie. So it was a cool movie. And it was a great soundtrack. That song was by PC 2000. Now, earlier in the week, we found out about the passing of Pete Burns, who is the lead singer of Dead or Alive. He said he had over 300 plastic surgeries in his life. And he died of a massive heart attack. I believe it was on Monday. And they were just getting ready to release their new album, which will be released this Tuesday. So let's do some Dead or Alive. There's Something in My House, The Decades of the Dead, on Total Reach Radio.
The dead will walk here.
The Decades of the Dead with Joe E. Kramer.
You
The Decades of the Dead with Joe E. Kramer.
Outside is the storm. All alone in the crib, watching the tube. Yo, is that what I did? Let's see something new. Chills on your spine, your heart fills with fright. Not filled by the things that go bump in the night. Walk through the wall with no time to stall. You call the Ghostbusters. Look, that's who you call. Ghostbusters. We ain't afraid of no ghosts. We ain't afraid of no ghosts. We ain't afraid of no ghosts. Stop! Bridge, hit it!
The Decades of the Dead. Run DMC, that was from Ghostbusters 2, which wasn't nearly as good as Ghostbusters 1, we all admit that, and the remake of Ghostbusters was absolutely, positively, I only watched 45 minutes of it, and I could not watch anymore. I had enough. It was so horrible. So, that's my review anyway. Decades of the Dead tonight, the Halloween show we do every single year. Tonight, 9 o'clock, Mark Nesmith will be with us. The Ghost of Gettysburg. He wrote about 8 books about the Ghost of Gettysburg. He's a paranormal investigator, and Mark will be with us after 9 o'clock. We'll talk about that. Singing with the Sam a little bit later. Hairspray at 8, though. It's coming up next. Don't you go anywhere. This is Decades, the Decades of the Dead. 105 The River, 104.9 and 100.7 FM, 1340 AM around the world at 105theriver.net. Decades with JoeEKramer.com and the Radio Bold app. We'll be right back.
Tonight, Joe E. Kramer presents the Decades of the Dead Halloween Spectacular at WWRR Scranton Wilkes-Barre.
Who is this? Frankenstein.
Boy, Jason.
Jason?
Michael Myers.
Dracula is in the house. Krueger.
Freddy Krueger.
He's inside me.
This is the Decades of the Dead. Now, here's your host, Joe E. Kramer.
It is I, Joe E. Kramer, the Decades of the Dead. I like making that voice. And Decades of the Dead, hour number 2. We're going to do Hairspray at 8, Halloween style tonight. So that means for the next hour, all these Halloween favorites. Basically, a Halloween favorite to me is if it says dead in it or hell in it or something ghoulish. Should we say ghoulish this time of year? So 1 hour right now, starting with Hairspray at 8. And the first song I'm going to play, I'm actually going to, myself and the Sam are going to do our rendition of it after 10 o'clock. So it should be very cool. I think you know what it is. Faster Pussycat, the Monster Mash. Hairspray at 8.
I was working in the lab late one night when my eyes beheld an eerie sight. For a monster from his slab began to rise, and suddenly, to my surprise, he did the monster mash. It was a graveyard smash. It caught on in a flash. He did the monster mash. From my laboratory in the castle east to the master bedroom where the vampires feast. The ghouls all came from their humble abodes to get a jolt from my electrodes. They did the monster mash. It was a graveyard smash. It caught on in a flash. They did the monster mash. The zombies were having fun. The party had just begun. The guests included Wolfman, Dracula, and his son. The scene was rocking, I was digging the sounds. Eager on chains backed by his band hounds. The coffin bangers were about to arrive with their vocal group, the Crypt Kicker 5. They played the monster mash. It was a graveyard smash. It caught on in a flash. They played the monster mash. Out from his coffin, Drax's voice did ring. Seems he was troubled by just one thing. He opened the lid and shook his fist and said, "Whatever happened to my time for a twist?" It's now the monster mash. And it's a graveyard smash. It's caught on in a flash. It's now the monster mash. Now everything's cool, Jack's a part of the band. My monster mash is the hit of the land. For you, the living, this mash was meant to. When you get to my door, tell them Boris sent you. Then you can monster mash. And do my graveyard smash. You'll catch on in a flash. Then you can monster mash.
The power of Christ compels you! The power of Christ compels you!
The Decades of the Dead with Joe E. Kramer.
the Decades of the Dead Halloween Spectacular of Music, ACDC, Hellspell. See, if it says hell in it, says ghost in it, says dead in it, I consider it a Halloween song. And of course, if it says creatures in it, it's got to be a Halloween song. Well, you think Kiss, makeup, Halloween, right? Creatures of the Night, Hairspray at 8, the Decades of the Dead. Turn it up.
close my eyes. I'm scared to open them. I'm gonna die out here.
The Decades of the Dead with Joe E. Kramer.
at 8, the Decades of the Dead. That guy freaks me out. I wasn't afraid of much when I was little. I mean, I liked Kiss, so what could be scarier than Gene Simmons when you're like 6 and 7 years old? And then I saw King Diamond, and he lives and dies in that makeup. He says he is part of Satanism, but not as a religion. That is true. Kim Bendix Peterson is his real name, from Denmark. King Diamond, Halloween, right here on Decades. Go to the Facebook page for 105 The River. Just type it right in there, 105 The River. Have a question there, your favorite horror movie of all time. We're going to discuss that when I have the salmon here after 10 o'clock and read back a lot of your answers. So go over to the Facebook page for that. Mark Nesbitt with us at 9 o'clock sharp. He is the author of The Ghosts of Gettysburg. He has 8 books, all having to do with the Ghost of Gettysburg. He will be here, and he will be talking about not only the books, but he does the Ghost of Gettysburg candlelight tours. And if there's someone who knows about the most haunted place on earth, it is Mark Nesbitt. So we'll talk to him. We got more Hairspray at 8 coming up. I'm gonna let you be surprised what's on the way. All cool stuff, all stuff that has something to do with Halloween. We got music, another song from the Fright Night soundtrack. We got a song from Night of the Living Dead soundtrack, you know, those cheesy ones from the 1980s. We got one from Friday the 13th on there, and I'm not even gonna get into it. We have another surprise song, so stay right here, won't you? It's Halloween weekend. And what better of a way to spend it than Hairspray at 8 and all night long, the Decades of the Dead, our annual tradition here, right here on Decades on Total Reach Radio, 105 The River, 104.9, 100.7 FM, 1340 AM, around the world at 105theriver.net. Decades with JoeEKramer.com and the Radio Bold app. We'll be right back. Hang on.
Kind of bloodsucker are you? I am Dracula. Dracula is our vampire. Dracula.
Count Dracula.
Dracula is in the house. In the house. I bid you welcome.
The Decades of the Dead with Joe E. Kramer.
Say I like your style.
The Decades of the Dead.
Happy, happy Halloween, 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 happy, happy Halloween, silver shamrock.
With Joe E. Kramer.
There's an evil lurking in the night, and it gets inside of you. There's a terror with a fatal bite. Nothing's left when it gets through. It can hypnotize, read its evil eyes. No one hears your cry when it gets hold of you. You can run from the beast inside of you. You can hide from the eyes that see right through. You can run, you can hide. There ain't nothing you can do. Can't get away from the beast inside of you. It can change before your very eyes, like a nightmare coming true. With the touch of death, you're paralyzed, and it controls your every move. It's inside your soul, taking all control. Hear the bells that toll, they're calling out to you. You can run from the beast inside of you. You can hide from the eyes that see right through. You can run, you can hide. There ain't nothing you can do. Can't get away from the beast inside of you. You can run from the beast inside of you. You can hide from the eyes that see right through. You can run, no. You can hide, you can hide. You can run, you can hide. You can run from the beast inside of you.
Total Reach Radio, Decades of the Dead. That is Autograph. You Can't Hide from the Beast Inside. Fright Night soundtrack. What a great soundtrack. It has, Jay Giles band we played earlier. It's got Autograph, a bunch of cool hair metal on it. Check that out. It was just released on CD. It was only released on vinyl for quite some time. I, of course, have the vinyl. I think I was the only one who bought the vinyl back in the 80s when that soundtracks weren't a big thing. I mean, Footloose was and stuff like that, but not every movie had a vinyl soundtrack to it. True story. All right, another movie, Night of the Living Dead. Remember that? Remember the movies Return of the Living Dead in the 80s? They had 1, 2. They were kind of cheesy. They were kind of like the Evil Dead type movies. But it was House. I was watching House the other night. That was another great horror movie with kind of like a comedic twist to it. But this was a great song. It was by a band called 45 Grave from Return of the Living Dead. It's party time. This is Hairspray at 8 and the Decades of the Dead.
Pity the poor little darling now. Ooh, she never had the chance. Didn't he quit for a girl? Victim of homicide, cut and beaten, brutally raped. The 5-year-old, she didn't escape. Her mom and friends did hot ear, cigarette butts on her skin. From her mom and a friend had a whip to hit her up to your one party. It's party time. We got a party. It's party time. She never had a chance. Her family was sent to jail, sent for jail. Her older sister never loved, not for a dime. All night she screams, "Party, do you want party?" It's party time. We got a party. It's party time. Do you want party? It's party time. We got a party. It's party time. Do you want party? It's party time. We got a party. It's party time. It's party time. It's party
Don't think about doing it, Lewis. The place is evil. Sometimes dead is better.
The Decades of the Dead with Joe E. Kramer.
You're with your baby, and you're parked alone on a summer night. You're deep in love, but you're deeper in the woods. You think you're doing alright.
This is the Decades of the Dead.
Striper. I almost said Sweet. Striper. That's because we're going to have Michael Sweet with us next Saturday night. A Decades Artist Spotlight. Michael Sweet, talk about his new album. Talk about To Hell with the Devil tour, which is going on October and into November. So we're going to talk to Michael Sweet next Saturday night, the Decades Artist Spotlight. Michael Nesbitt, not Michael Nesmith from the Monkees. Michael Nesbitt, paranormal investigator and author of The Ghost of Gettysburg, will be with us tonight on the show at 9 o'clock. The most haunted place on Earth, Gettysburg. There is more paranormal activity at that place than anywhere else. That is a fact. I even had an experience, which I talked to him about, myself and my wife. If she wasn't there, she never would have believed me. But it did happen to me, so it could happen to anybody. And we both didn't even realize it. That was the oddest part. So that's coming up at 9 o'clock in about 15 minutes. You don't want to miss that. And then Singing with the Sam at 10 o'clock. We're going to do a classic. You're going to love it. And go to Facebook. We have your favorite horror movie. Get in on that. A lot of stuff going on today. It's Halloween weekend after all, right? Always a good time. Decades of the Dead rocks on. Do you know this one? Another movie. This one was Shocker, and this was Paul Stanley and Desmond Child on vocals. They called themselves Dudes of Wrath. Shocker. Hairspray at 8.
See the shadow of a stranger. Turn around and your life's in danger. This crazy world's in a grave situation. Check the children, are they sleeping? Will they wake from the sirens screaming? Don't think the heavens is this man's creation. Shocker, shocker. We live like lambs to the slaughter. Shocker, shocker. We're in the fire and it's just getting hotter. See the light, it's a city burning. Hold the shutter 'cause the leaves are turning. Winter's coming with its coat of passion. Our killer's loose and the dead stand trial. The sky's the only witness on fire. Man's in humanity to man's in fashion. Shocker, shocker. We live like lambs to the slaughter. Shocker, shocker. We're in the fire and it's just getting hotter. Shocker, shocker. We live like lambs to the slaughter. Shocker, shocker. We're in the fire and it's just getting
The Decades of the Dead with Joe E. Kramer.
Shout!
This is the Decades of the Dead. Boo.
Around Halloween that you can pull some songs from, and of course Dokken and Dream Warriors right here. It is Decades, the Decades of the Dead Halloween spectacular of music. If you want to talk scary, let's talk a little Quiet Riot. Now they have a brand new lead singer. If you haven't, if you're losing track, their new lead singer is Sean Nichols. And Frankie Banali was recently interviewed, not by me because I put requests out for him, but he doesn't return my phone calls. He says that he thinks one of the reasons they've had 5 lead singers in a matter of a couple years was because Kevin Dubrow was a complete package in every sense of the word. But Sean is really, really good, and I ended up signing a deal with Frontier Records to release a new album next year, and come to find out that Sean writes some great lyrics and great melodies. So all the material's written, the drum tracks are all cut, the bass is done, and we're working on guitars now. All the vocals are mapped out, and we're going to go in and finish up the guitars next week and background vocals next week. So that's for the new... I've lost track at this point. But anyway, that is the new lead singer, and Timmy Rex Havoc. Can't give away his real name. Rex Havoc sent me that article. I think it was funny. Next time he's in here, we're going to have to delve into that a little bit deeper. All right, coming up next, of course, next week, Michael Sweet, by the way, on the show. But coming up next, paranormal investigator and, of course, author of not only Ghost of Gettysburg books. This guy's put out 20-plus books on all kind of history and everything. So Mark Nesbitt will be on the show in just a few minutes. Do not want to miss it. If you like a little bit of history and you love ghosts and the paranormal, especially this time of year, you want to stay right here. The Ghost of Gettysburg, Mark Nesbitt is next, right here. Decades on Total Reach Radio, 105 The River, 104.9, 100.7 FM, 1340 AM around the world, at 105theriver.net. Decades with JoeEKramer.com and the Radio Bold app. Mark Nesbitt is with us next. Hang on.
Tonight, Joe E. Kramer presents the Decades of the Dead Halloween Spectacular at WWRR Scranton Wilkes-Barre.
Trick or treat! Trick or treat! Happy Halloween! Boogeyman is coming!
I believe in God and the devil.
You may think they scare me, you're probably right. Black cats and goblins on Halloween night. Trick or treat!
This is the Decades of the Dead. Tonight, author and owner of the Ghosts of Gettysburg, Michael Nesbitt.
It is the Decades Artist Spotlight tonight. Special edition, of course, being the Decades of the Dead Halloween Spectacular of music. Mark Nesbitt, he is not only a paranormal investigator, he has written a lot of books. And one of his most famous books, of course, the series of the Ghosts of Gettysburg. It is a special edition of the Decades Artist Spotlight tonight. One of my favorite topics is the Civil War. I drive my wife and my kids crazy at home talking about it. This time of year, we talk a lot about ghosts and hauntings and the paranormal. It's a great pleasure to have a man who has had 8 books on the Ghosts of Gettysburg. You've seen him on A&E, the History Channel, Discovery Channel, Travel Channel, and, of course, he is the owner of the Ghosts of Gettysburg Candlelight Tours in Gettysburg. Mr. Mark Nesbitt is with us. How you doing, Mark?
Hi, Joe. How are you? Happy Halloween to you.
And, is this a popular time of year for you?
Oh, my goodness, yeah. Well, October is beautiful in Gettysburg anyhow. And with between the college and the seminary and the Apple Harvest Festival and the leaves turning, we had a lot of people that come to Gettysburg. And, of course, you throw the ghost tours and the ghostly aspect into the mix, and you get even more. So our October is about as busy as July or August is in Gettysburg. So,
and people mistake the ghost tours a lot in Gettysburg. I've been there so many times, and they think it's like a haunted house tour. They're waiting to be scared, and it's not. It's if you got to love history. I love history.
In particular, our tours, I kind of based them. I used to be a park ranger at Gettysburg, and so the history is a big thing to me. So when I was writing the books, I did the research on the site itself, the history, and then put the ghost stories in afterwards, and the tours are based around that. To me, a ghost story without the history is kind of like you're walking down a street and somebody jumps out of the bushes and yells and boo at you, and then you're scared for a second, and you realize it's your idiot brother-in-law,
right?
And you're like, okay, it's not. But if you have the history behind these woods that you have to walk past at night on your way home, and there was a murder in there, and they never found the woman, and all of a sudden you hear a little rustling in the leaves, then you're walking a little faster. So to me, the history is very important when it comes to the ghost stories.
And you said you were a park ranger, obviously, and I've heard that you had quite a few moments while you were a ranger. In fact, staying in a cemetery.
Well, yeah, that was one of the places. I lived in about 4 different houses on the national park there. One of them was the Cemetery Lodge, that beautiful brick building right there.
Yep.
As soon as you go into the Baltimore Street entrance of the National Cemetery. And yeah, I did live there for a while. I was there by myself for a little bit, and then I had a couple of housemates, I should say. And had several experiences. In fact, that's almost how this all really got started, because I would have for example, in the cemetery lodge, I'd hear a baby crying periodically. And there were no babies. We had no kids there. And so I mentioned it, in the coffee room. And my friends, my comrades at the Park Service there would say, well, listen, you need to talk to such and such who lived there before you. And sure enough, she would have had the same experience years before, same house, different people, different times. So the little wheel started turning. I realized there's something going on here in a number of the houses, and that's when I started collecting the stories. That eventually became the first Ghosts of Gettysburg book.
And you also have, is there 8 books now? Am I correct on that?
I am working on number 8.
Number
as
8,
we
right.
speak. It's right out, the letters I've gotten are sitting out right in front of me now, and I'm going through them.
And it's not just the Ghost of Gettysburg, too. I want to talk about the Ghost of Gettysburg. I'm even going to tell you an experience I've had, and my wife was with me, so she couldn't tell me I was crazy or making things up, so I want to talk about that, too. But your other books, I read Cursed in Pennsylvania, which is one of my favorite books.
Oh, thanks. Thanks very much, Joe. Yeah, that was that just came out, as a matter of fact. I did that this past summer.
Right.
I did that with Patty Wilson, who knows more ghost stories about Pennsylvania than anybody on the face of the planet. But I did mostly the ones I was familiar with, of course, Gettysburg and some of the Penn State ones and things like that. But at any rate, those were it's a little different twist rather than just all ghosts. There were some other things in there too. So.
Now, you're the home of the Ghost of Gettysburg's tour is still on Baltimore Street, and you've been there since 1997. But that residence itself, it's odd you picked that place. And it used to be, I guess you said, a carriage stop in 1835, or a shop. They used to fix carriages or whatever, build them there. But right from the get-go, you started having experiences there.
That is correct. Yeah, we had in fact, one of the first experiences I heard about was the guy that was doing the trim work inside. He's putting, fixing it up so that people could actually pass through it without danger.
Right.
And he said, I had a strange thing that happened to me. And he said I was walking towards the door, and I had my arms full of wood, and all of a sudden the door swung open. He said to let me in, so I walked in, and I turned around to try and close it, because I'm still trying to get my hands free, and the door swung closed. And I said to him, well, maybe, okay, I'm looking for an explanation. I said, maybe it was the wind. Of course, I'm looking at the flagpole, and the flag is straight down. He said, I thought that myself. He says, but it happened 3 more times after that. I take one step towards the door, it opens, I walk in, and it closes.
It was a courteous ghost. That's all.
I'm thinking, that maybe, the guy, Andrew Wood, who owned that place at one time, had opened that door probably 50 times a day himself, with people carrying in supplies or broken parts of their carriages that he had to fix. So I'm thinking that door opened and shut for a worker many, many, many times when it was a carriage trimmer's shop. So,
and you have, it seems like almost every room of the house has something. I heard you talk about the gray room with the woman, the apparition of the woman, and also the green room with Hank.
Yeah, Hank. People have, in fact, I have at least 3 people that literally ran into him, and he just seems to go on duty when the lights go off and we lock up. But they say, the people who have run into him say he's linebacker size. He's a huge guy. And he kind of, in fact, one of the people was actually former military, and she said it's almost like he went on guard. He snapped to that on guard position, she said, as I was going by. So he takes care of everything downstairs, but he is not allowed upstairs by Mrs. Kitzmiller, who owned the house longest of anybody from 1866 to 1914. And she is a little tiny woman, according to the people who have seen her. And but he's afraid of her, as I am too.
Usually, the big guys are always afraid of the little women.
Oh, she's pretty feisty. I have an EVP, which is the electronic voice phenomenon of her. We had some. She was always angry at us because we wouldn't bring out tea and cookies for the people who we would invite to do, paranormal investigations. So my wife Carol pulled out some old stale cookies that were in the cabinet for a while, and she set them out. And I asked on the EVP, I said, Mrs. Kitzmiller, how do you like the cookies that we put out? And, of course, you can't hear anything when it's being recorded. But she, when I played it back, you heard a female voice go, "I hate them." So she's pretty feisty, and she has her own mind, even though she's no longer with us.
Now, do you have any residual hauntings? Because I'm assuming a lot of the activity in Gettysburg probably is based on that of things just happening over and over and over, because a lot of people see the same things.
Yeah, a lot of... probably the most common is the famous
Phantom Regiment.
Yeah.
I was going to say.
Yeah. You're familiar with these,
yeah.
aren't you? Yeah, the probably the most interesting one I got was a lady and her son about 6 o'clock in the morning, right as the park opened. They were out at the Peach Orchard, which I'm sure you're familiar with,
right.
driving east on the Wheatfield Road, and it kind of goes up a little bit, and then you can see the open fields. She said as they crested the hill, they saw a unit of soldiers marching around. She didn't say how big it was. It was fairly large. Marching around, kind of doing maneuvers and everything. They had a dog with them. Their family dog was in the back seat growling. Now, this is kind of important, and I'll tell you in a second here why. But at any rate, as soon as a couple joggers came over the hill, the entire unit just vanished into thin air. Now, the dog growling is important to me because, when we humans have a paranormal experience, we have all this baggage, and we make all these excuses. No, it's too much to drink last night,
right.
Something under my contacts, whatever. Animals, dogs in particular, they just alert. When they see something that they're suspicious of, they just alert. They don't have any excuses. So to me, that was an actual vision out there that all three of them saw. It was a physical reflection of the light that was out there in the field. So that, to me, was kind of important.
And, people don't realize, when I say, it's odd to say that I love the Civil War because it was such a horrible thing that happened. And people listening who don't know, there were over 1 million casualties, 620,000 people were killed. Just in Gettysburg, over 50,000 people were killed in just 3 days.
Right. Well, actually, that's killed, wounded, and missing in 3 days. But that's still a horrendous amount. I figured it out once because they didn't fight for 3 days straight. They fought for about 24 hours. And when you do the simple division, you realize that someone was being hit by a piece of flying metal once every 2 seconds.
And there was only, 2,300, 2,400 people in Gettysburg that actually lived there?
Right, yeah, just about 2,400. And of course, a lot of the men had left because they heard the rebels were coming, they skedaddled, as they say in those days, with the livestock and dry goods and everything to get it out north of the Susquehanna River. So it was mostly women and children in Gettysburg and old men to take care of the 51,000 casualties that were dropped down on this little town over the course of 3 days.
And it's whenever I go down to Gettysburg, and I've dragged my wife down there so many times. In fact, one time I've already actually taken my daughter with her class trip. And the younger kids, I hate to say, I sound like my father now, but the young kids, when I walk on that battlefield, it just feels different. There's just a feeling.
That's a good point, Joe. And everybody seems to feel it too. And I liken it to, going into a church. When you walk into a church, really it's just a building, but you feel different. And
right.
I think that's what Gettysburg does. We can't help but be in awe of what these men did on those fields, and that is a feeling that is virtually indescribable.
Now, do you have a favorite? I know you're a Civil War buff. Do you have a favorite battle that you think of when you think of the Civil War?
Well, obviously Gettysburg, since I've studied it so much, but I did write a book called Civil War Ghost Trail, so I got an opportunity to go to many of the major battlefields of the war and write about their ghost stories and everything. Antietam gives me that same feeling, Sharpsburg, Antietam, gives me kind of the same feeling that Gettysburg did because of that tremendous, 23,000 casualties in just from dawn to dusk, bloodiest single day in all of American history. And we had an opportunity to visit Andersonville down in Georgia, the famous or infamous prison down there. And that's one of those places that you can literally stand up on top of a small hill where the commander's headquarters was and look at the whole thing in one sweep of your eye and imagine upwards of 30,000 men eventually in that small area. It's just unbelievable. So those are a couple of places that kind of weird you out a little bit.
And I know you do the Fredericksburg tours also.
We did that for a number of years,
right.
About 6 or 7 years. We just kind of handed it over to one of our guides to do now. So they're still operating down there, the Ghosts of Fredericksburg tours. But that's a very interesting area as well, because Fredericksburg is a lot like Gettysburg, except it was southern, of course. And there are actually 4 battlefields down there. Fredericksburg, Chancellorsville, the Wilderness, and Spotsylvania. The last 2 were in 1864 when Grant actually faced off against Robert E. Lee, U.S. Grant and Lee. So those are pretty famous battlefields. And they say, the Park Service has a statement that if you add Spotsylvania, or the Wilderness and Spotsylvania together as one battle, which they virtually were. I mean, there was a long battle, it was several days long. There's only one day in between them where the armies marched. You got 60,000 casualties. It would have been the bloodiest battle in all of American history.
And the Confederates were reeling off one victory after another at that point. So Gettysburg was a turning point of the war.
It was, yeah. It was kind of a big gamble, when Lee invaded the North, because it was an invasion from the Virginia into the North. It kind of gambled. He tried it once before and got turned back in September of 1862 at Antietam. But Gettysburg was a big gamble, and he lost the gamble.
And one of my favorite things at Gettysburg is Joshua Chamberlain and his battle at Little Round Top. That was one of my favorite things of the Civil War. But I didn't have my experience there, although I always go to that place. For some reason, Little Round Top, I always, again, you get that feeling when you're there.
Oh, without a doubt, yeah. And I remember when I was giving talks up there, of course, this was before the film, people from Maine would show up. And I would include the story about Chamberlain because he was from Maine. And they'd say,
he was a governor, wasn't he?
I'm sorry?
He was the governor of Maine, wasn't he?
Eventually, yeah, after the Civil War, yeah. He was actually just a college professor before that. And it's kind of funny to look at pictures of him before and after the Civil War. Before the Civil War, he looks like John Boy Walton.
He does, if you look at him.
Kind of goofy. And but after the war, there is no more regal-looking individual than Joshua Chamberlain with that big mustache, and he was it transformed him without a doubt, and probably the reason why he did eventually become governor. But yeah, the people from Maine, I'd send them down there and say, there's a little tiny deer path that leads back to the 20th Maine Monument. 9 times out of 10 they'd come back and say, "Where did you say that was?" So I have to walk them down there and take them into the woods and everything. Now it's like a super highway. You can't miss it now where to get back to the 20th Maine marker. And I wrote about it in one of my books about his stand there. Was pretty amazing, pretty interesting.
Yeah, that was basically hand-to-hand combat at the end.
Yeah, it was. And because they ran out of ammunition.
Right.
And that's what they kept calling to him. They kept calling ammunition. And the Confederates heard it too, because it's not a very big space down there. And so that's when they figured, okay, we got these guys now. And he pulled off this textbook maneuver in the middle of the woods. He called fixed bayonets. They swung because their line was bent back in an inverted V, and they swung the left flank around until it was in a straight line, and then charged and landed basically on top of the Confederates as they were coming up the hill.
It is a Decades Artist Spotlight, the Ghost of Gettysburg. We're talking with Mark Nesbitt here on a special Decades Artist Spotlight for the Decades of the Dead this Saturday night, of course, tonight. Halloween is on Monday. He is not only an author of 20-plus books, 8 of them on the Ghost of Gettysburg. He's not only a paranormal investigator, but he runs these candlelight tours in Gettysburg. And even if you're not into history, it's such a gorgeous place going down to Gettysburg. And there's a ton of different haunted tours you can take. Basically year-round, they are off for the winter for the most part. I know they do some group tours and so on and so forth during the winter. But during the summer and the spring and the fall, that's the time to get down to Gettysburg. And again, there's this feeling you get when you're on the battlefield. You can almost feel the spirits that are all around you. I'm just a Gettysburg and Civil War geek, I guess you could say. So And it's nice talking to a guy who feels the same. We're going to talk more to Mark Nesbitt coming up. I'm going to talk a little bit about my experience because even though I love the paranormal and I've been into this kind of thing for years and years and years, I'm not going to lie and say I've ever seen something. I've seen two things in my life. And I think later when the Sam is here, I'm going to talk about the other one. But I did have an experience when I was at Gettysburg. And the odd thing is, it's not like I saw some specter that I could see through or was running after me or headless horseman or anything like that. I didn't even realize that it was an experience until after it was done. 5-10 minutes later, then I realized what myself and my wife, what we had experienced that day on the battlefield. So we're going to talk about that with Mark, a little more about the Ghost of Gettysburg, some of his other books, the tours that he does down there, and some more of his experiences that he's had while not only living in the current house he has now on Baltimore Street where the tours go on, but he lived basically on the battlefield as a park ranger. So Mark with Mark Nesbitt coming up. It is the Decades Artist Spotlight. This is Decades, the Decades of the Dead Halloween Spectacular, and we will be right back on 105 The River, 104.9 and 100.7 FM, 1340 AM, and around the world at 105theriver.net. Decades with JoeEKramer.com and the Radio Bold app. We'll be right back. Hang on.
And you have moved in the haunted house.
He did the Monster Man.
It was a one-eyed, one-horn, flying purple people eater.
Beware of the blob.
Attack of the Killer Tomato.
The Decades of the Dead with Joe E. Kramer.
We are in a Decades Artist Spotlight tonight, a special spotlight, of course, because we're celebrating Halloween. The Decades of the Dead, and we are here with Mark Nesbitt, paranormal investigator and author of The Ghosts of Gettysburg, right here on Decades. A few years ago, we were down at Gettysburg, and we were on where McPherson Ridge, where the monument is.
Right.
Where General John Reynolds was shot. And we were standing there, and it was later in the afternoon. I mean, it was a late afternoon. It wasn't a particularly busy day. And we were standing there, and I was talking because she was listening to my boring stories, pretending she was listening to me, where I was basically just talking to myself. And as we're standing there, a guy walked by, comes up to us, and he was an older guy with a beard, and he was talking to us, and he started talking about what happened that day. And he went on for about 10 minutes. And he even got my wife's attention. And he went on and on and on and on. And at the end, he said, I hope you enjoy this. And now you know a little bit more about what happened here. And it was starting to get late in the afternoon. And we walked out and we said to somebody outside, we said, whoever the guy is, we assumed he worked there. We said, he's excellent. He knows so much about that. And we described him. And they said to us, we have nobody who fits that description who works here. He said, but we've heard more than one person talk about this man that you're talking about, telling stories on the battlefield. And he talked to us, and he knew so much about it. And we turned around, he was gone. Because we even looked back for him, and he was gone. And we said, he must have went down the hill or whatever. They said they constantly hear about this man telling stories, but they have never seen him.
Knew a little more than he should have, right?
It was so strange. And even her, she said, if I wasn't with you, I wouldn't have believed it.
I have a number of stories like that where people say that they are given directions. Or in particular, for example, Devil's Den, one of the first stories I collected. Now, of course, this is not residual. This is a interactive haunting or intelligent haunting where we're all at the information desk, and a woman comes in about 8 o'clock in the morning. She said, "Is this Gettysburg? Is this haunted?" And we're like, "Well, some people say." So we were like, "What happened?" She said, "Well, I was out at Devil's Den about 6 in the morning. The park had just opened, and I kind of got turned around, and so I figured I'd take a picture." She got out of the car, got up on the rocks, and when you get up on top of the rocks, you got a pretty good panoramic view all around. She said, and nobody was there, no other cars. I was the only one. She said, I got my camera out, figured I'd take a picture. All of a sudden, I get this feeling that I wasn't alone, and I turned around. There was a guy standing there. And he looked at me, and he said, what you're looking for is over there, and he pointed over my shoulder. She said, I turned around, and I'm like, wait a minute, was he? He doesn't know what I'm looking for. And I turned right back around, and he was gone. Just disappeared. We asked him what he was dressed like, and she said, well, he's dressed kind of, this is back in the 70s, he said, he's kind of dressed like a hippie, you know, shoulder-length hair, ragged clothes, barefoot, floppy hat. Well, lo and behold, she just described what some of the Texans, the 1st Texas who took Devil's Den from the Union soldiers on July 2nd actually looked like. They were pretty ragged, and they were kind of proud of that fact too. You know, they didn't get their clothes right away, their uniforms right away from Texas because it was so far away. So by the time they got to Gettysburg, they were still in some of their original uniforms, which were pretty beat up. So basically, she described a soldier that would have been there at the time.
And one of the things that person, that whatever that was, talked to us, said, you know, you folks better you want to move down this road and get out of here before nightfall. You don't want to get stuck on these fields at night. And we didn't think anything of it. I mean, because he looked like he had a beard and, you know, he was an older man. But we didn't, at the time we were talking to him, we no way thought this was any kind of experience until we walked out. And even when I turned around and saw him gone, I said to my wife, where did he go? Because he was just standing there. She said, oh, he must have went down over there somewhere. And then we got out, and she turned completely white when we were talking to them. And we've been down several times since then. I've never seen this guy again.
Yeah.
But it was really, and who knows who could it have been? You know, maybe it was somebody who lived there after Gettysburg, or who knows?
Could have been, or a farmer that was there at the time and witnessed it, or maybe a participant. I mean, they returned many times to Gettysburg, you know, on the 25th, on the 50th,
right,
and the 75th anniversary. And even in between, they would just get on a train and come to Gettysburg from wherever. So who knows?
Now, you had a story about when I was talking about, was it John Reynolds, about the floating head you talked about?
Yeah, I got this from a seminarian, and he said he was in his dormitory. Now, the dormitories lie right in between, actually on the pathway between where Reynolds was shot, where they would have taken his body, and to the George house in Gettysburg, where he laid in state for a little while. At any rate, he was the seminarian was there at night, and he was sound asleep. And about, I guess, 1 o'clock in the morning, he was awakened by a scream in the dorm. Some guy he recognized the voice, and it was a friend of his. And he didn't think much of it, because he thought, well, maybe he was in the Army and maybe he was doing one of his Army calls or something. So he fell back asleep, and about an hour later, the room was freezing, and he woke up. He thought maybe he'd left the window open. And when he opened his eyes, there was someone standing there. But he could only see him from the waist up, and it was like floating.
Right.
And it was a bearded face and a dark face. And he yelled at him, and he screamed, and he finally started to get up to defend himself, and it disappeared. A couple days later, he ran into his friend, and they were talking, and he said, hey, by the way, I heard you screaming the other night. Were you doing one of your Army calls? And the guy said, no. And he got real serious. And he said about 1 o'clock he was awakened by something in his room, and he opened his eyes, and it was this face floating in the air in front of him, and he described basically the same guy that my friend had seen. Well, I got out a few pictures, and I took them over to him, and several pictures of bearded guys, and I said, is one of these guys familiar? And he looked, he said, that's him right there. And it was John Reynolds that he had seen.
You hear so many stories. How could everybody just be seeing things? I mean,
well,
not everybody. People, because, you know, the skeptics all say, oh, you know, it's just to promote the place. But thousands upon thousands of people have experiences, and they're all the same almost, without knowing each other or hearing them.
I have well over 1,000 stories of Gettysburg. Many aren't published, and at least 250 or 300 of the Fredericksburg area and some of the Antietam. And the stories, in many cases, are the same. Those are the ones that are really, I really like, when you have two different people, two different times, they see the same thing or hear the same thing. I mean, it's not always visual. And those are the ones that fascinate me, and I try and keep them updated in the various books as I through the years. And those are kind of interesting because, you know, it's obviously the same thing. For example, the woman there was a woman that came to one of my signings, and she said, you know, a weird thing that happened to me at Devil's Den. I said, well, what was that? She says, well, I was standing there, and it was kind of, you know, in a reverie at this nice day, and I was looking down at my feet, and I saw these beautiful blue flowers, and for some reason I was looking at those, and all of a sudden I realized there was someone standing in front of me, and I looked up, and here was this guy standing there, and he looked at me, and he pointed at my shirt, and I was wearing a Texas Longhorn burnt orange
Right.
sweatshirt, and he said, First Texas. And I looked down, she said, and I realized I had that sweatshirt on. I looked up, and he was gone. And he was like 2 feet from me. I said, what did he look like? She said, well, he had a floppy hat. He had long hair. I said, wait, did you read my books? And she said, no, this is the first time I've known about him. I said, continue. She described the same guy, barefoot, the same guy that the woman 30 years before had seen. And that's, to me, that's truly remarkable. I sent her a free copy of the book. I said, what do you think? And she emailed me back. She said, boy, this sounds just like the guy that I saw.
It is unreal. Now, have you ever had a truly a scary experience like that? Something that you really felt threatened while you've been in Gettysburg or in any of the places?
Not really. Not threatened. There are a couple, obviously there's some places I've been into that have gotten the quote willies.
Right.
Down in there was a place down in New Orleans that kind of did that to me. It was the Bourbon New Orleans Bourbon Hotel, I believe it was called. I can't recall the name. That kind of gave me the creeps. The Hotel Bethlehem in Bethlehem, Pennsylvania. Also, there was a murder there, and they always put us up in the most haunted rooms whenever we go. Whenever Carol and I go places, like, oh, thanks, And that was a kind of a weird night. That night, things. Nothing really happened, but it's just there was something there that wasn't right. But as far as run screaming from a place, I'm more interested in what's going on. I want to find out what this is. I want to communicate with them. And I already know that they're ghosts. I don't need to prove that they're ghosts out there. There's something that goes on with the human spirit.
Oh,
once
absolutely.
we die. And so I already know that. What I want to do is start communicating. I want to find out a little bit more about this world to which we are all headed eventually.
Absolutely. And, it's funny because nowadays TV is overwhelmed with paranormal investigators. And a lot of them, it seems, everywhere they go, they get attacked by a demon or by a ghost, or they get scratched or they get bitten. And you're like, really?
That's sad because it's so rare.
It is.
I've been touched. I've had my sleeve pulled. I've been, but never anything violent. And what people don't realize is that there's more to be learned from these entities than there is to be feared about them. And it kind of bothers me because they have the audience in many cases, but they don't have the scientific technique, to gather all this evidence and I'm not saying all of them, but many of them don't. A lot of the good work in the field is being done by people that you hardly ever hear of. That collect these stories. Rosemary Ellen Guiley is one of them. She does a wonderful job collecting these, and she does all aspects virtually of the paranormal.
Because the job of a paranormal investigator isn't necessary to find it, but you want to debunk it. You want to say, okay, the reason you saw this is this, not necessarily you have a ghost.
Right, and you don't see too much of that on TV anymore because nobody wants to see somebody debunking everything, saying, "Oh, it's the wind blowing this twig against your window." Nobody wants to hear that. They want to hear, "Oh, it's a demon trying to break into your house." Ratings matter, in other words, which is pretty sad.
Well, one last thing I want to ask you, because I know you're busy, especially this time of year, and I've heard you talk about, people have asked you about the history that nobody knows about Gettysburg, and the Civil War in general. And I've heard you talk about Jeb Stuart, who is a very interesting fellow because he got a lot of heat as far as the fighting went, and a lot of people have said a lot of stuff was his fault. And you've come out and you've talked about it. So talk a little bit about Mr. Jeb Stuart.
Well, actually I wrote a book about him, defending him, called Saber and Scapegoat. He was the saber of the Confederacy, but then later on he became the scapegoat of all the failures. And
I have to find that book. I didn't even see that book.
Yeah, it's one of my boring history books.
I like boring history books.
It's a defense of Stuart in the Gettysburg campaign specifically, and because I used to trash him too when I was a park ranger.
Right.
Then the more I read about him, the more I realized, hey, this guy was a good officer, And, at the age of 29, he was commanding 10,000 men. At the age of 29, I couldn't even command myself.
You look at these guys, and you even see, if you look at Jeb Stuart's picture even, you look at him and you think, oh, my God, this guy is 29 or 30 years old. He looks like, somebody who is in their 50s. They look so mature and so adult. And a lot of these guys were just kids. Right.
Well, what happened is that, at the end of the war, the Confederates had lost, obviously, so there had to be a reason why they lost, because, as they thought, people such as us, so noble, couldn't possibly have lost without somebody messing up pretty badly. And so it all came down to the Gettysburg campaign, and they claimed that Stuart had left Lee without any cavalry on the way north, and he did it without orders, though they're both patently wrong. He had orders from Lee that were discretionary, which Lee always gave to his commanders, and the other thing is that Lee was actually moving north with more cavalry than Stuart took with him.
Right.
So it's it boils down to people after the war trying to save their own reputations. So.
And then one more question, if you don't mind, because I thought of one more thing I wanted to ask you. I saw a movie not too long ago. It was about the Confederate States of America and what would happen if the Confederates won the Civil War. And you also wrote a book, I think it was called If the South Won Gettysburg.
That's correct.
So in your thoughts, what do you think would have happened? I mean, when you think about it, what if the South won Gettysburg and went on to win the Civil War? How different things would be today?
Well, first of all, slavery would have ended.
I think that would have ended anyway.
Yeah, it was doomed. It was not a good and efficient. It's not a very efficient process once the Industrial Revolution started to spread.
And I always said, even though the Civil War, was the official end of slavery, you look as far as into the 1960s, and blacks were still being treated almost as slaves in a lot of instances.
Well, that is true, and it's partially because of the blowback from the Reconstruction. When the federal government came into the South and ordered all this stuff going on that the people hadn't voted on or anything like that. So, in other words, that's part of it. But the other thing is, I think that the United States would have been balkanized. In other words, it would have turned into like a Europe with different sections. Now, my theory is that there have been probably 5 different sections. Obviously, the North, the South, California, a republic because they were so rich they didn't need any of us.
Right.
And then the Texas would have left the Confederacy because they were so independent anyhow.
They still want to leave now, so
they're looking for an excuse. And then the Rocky Mountain states probably would have developed later on with the discovery of minerals and when we all started taking vacations and wanted to ski and hike and stuff like that. So that's my theory. I mean, anybody can argue with it who wants to, and I'll be glad to listen to their arguments and probably maybe accept them. But that's what I think. The United States obviously wouldn't be the United States anymore. That's what it would have looked like.
And you wonder because, Abraham Lincoln, before he was assassinated, said, let the soldiers go home to their families. There won't be any. We're not going to torture these men. Let them go, but they have to sign that they're going to be part of the United States of America. What would have happened? Obviously, if the South won, Abraham Lincoln probably wouldn't have been assassinated. But what would have happened to him?
Probably not. Well, it depends on what would have happened tactically. In my book, I have him having to leave Washington because Jeb Stuart was actually given, the freedom to raid Washington,
right.
Something that any Confederate cavalryman would have just jumped on. In fact, one of the interesting things while I was doing the book is that I got to there's a huge cemetery, and I cannot recall the name of it right now, but it's overlooking it's overlooking Washington, and the caretaker came out, and I'm standing there, and he said, "Can I help you?" I said, "Yeah, I'm just looking at this in terms of artillery positions to bombard the Capitol." He's like,
Unreal.
What? I said, "Oh no, Civil War artillery," and I had to tell him about the book. I think he was a little worried about me.
Oh, it's great. I mean, your books are fantastic. I haven't been able to read all of them, but I'm trying. As when I called you to do the original interview, I went back and I read some of the Ghost of Gettysburg books I have. But like, If the South Won Gettysburg, I never even read that because I didn't know it existed. And I'm looking, oh my God, this guy has so many books other than just the Ghost of Gettysburg, and it's fantastic. If you go to ghostofgettysburg.com, the website, you have a store there. You can buy a lot of stuff there, correct?
Yeah, that is correct.
And you do the tours. Now, how do the tours run? I know, obviously, during the summer, the fall, they run. What time? When do you stop? Do you stop the tours over the winter?
Yeah, I mean, there's still plenty of ghosts in Gettysburg over
all the
winter,
time. They don't take a vacation,
people,
right?
No visitors to see them. So our last weekend will be Thanksgiving weekend.
And I know it's a popular time now of year, especially this coming weekend is going to probably be amazing.
Yes, yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I should amend that, but we do groups over the winter. In other words, we have a couple groups in December, so if anybody has a group of 10 or 12 or more, we will be happy to take them out. But yeah, that's this weekend is going to be huge, this coming weekend.
We're on a Decades Artist Spotlight, a very special guest tonight, Mark Nesbitt. He is the owner of the Ghost of Gettysburg Candlelight Tours in Gettysburg. He's also he is the person you want to talk to when you talk about the Ghost of Gettysburg. You can go to the website, ghostofgettysburg.com. Mark, it's been a pleasure talking to you tonight. I do appreciate it.
Joe, I really appreciate you appreciating the history, so it was fun for me too.
A Decades Artist Spotlight tonight, a special one for the Decades of the Dead. Mark Nesbitt, the Ghosts of Gettysburg. It's a phenomenal tour if you're in Gettysburg and you want to go on it. He's so knowledgeable, not only about the paranormal of Gettysburg, but about the overall history of Gettysburg and the entire Civil War. I could have talked to him for hours, and it's one of his busiest times of year this weekend, of course, in Gettysburg. Mark Nesbitt, the Ghost of Gettysburg, ghostofgettysburg.com is where you want to check out he actually has his store online. You can see all the books he's written. You can find out something about his tour. He's been on so many different TV shows. Travel Channel, A&E, History, you name it. He's always a guest on them, especially when it comes to the paranormal. Now, next Saturday night, it will be a regular show. And we'll have Michael Sweet with us from Stryper. Talk about his new album. And, of course, we'll talk about the To Hell with the Devil 30th anniversary tour. So we're going to take a break, and then we'll be back. More of your Halloween favorites straight ahead. This is Decades, the Decades of the Dead Halloween Spectacular on 105 The River, 104.9 and 100.7 FM, 1340 AM, and around the world at 105theriver.net. Decades with JoeEKramer.com and the Radio Bold app. Hang on.
Tonight, Joe E. Kramer presents the Decades of the Dead Halloween Spectacular at WWRR Scranton Wilkes-Barre.
You know, it's Halloween.
Happy Halloween.
He did the Monster Man.
What an excellent day for an exorcism.
This is the Decades of the Dead. Now, here's your host, Joe E. Kramer.
It is the Decades of the Dead Halloween Spectacular. I'm practicing my Dracula voice because in about 15 minutes we're going to be doing a special Singing with the Sam, and we are going to conquer the Monster Mash. See, you don't have to be a good singer to do this song. So I've always wanted to sing it. If she ever gets here, we will be doing it. Some people fall asleep when they're supposed to be coming up here to sing a song. Not mentioning any names, though. All right. It is the Decades of the Dead Halloween Spectacular of music. Now, Michael Jackson has always said Thriller was not a Halloween song. Actually, it was released in March, so he is correct. It wasn't technically a Halloween song. People always think of Halloween, they think of Thriller. It is probably the best video of all time. Am I right with that? This is the complete video version, which I searched for. Had to get it off vinyl. Of course, it's Thriller. The Decades of the Dead. Right here, Total Reach Radio.
Are you alright?
Delaware!
midnight hour is close at hand. Creatures crawl in search of blood to terrorize your neighborhood. And whosoever shall be found without the soul for getting down must stand and face the hounds of hell and rot inside a corpse's shell. The demons squeal in sheer delight. It's you they spy, so plump and so light. For though the groove is hard to beat, yet still you stand with frozen feet. You try to run, you try to scream, but no more sun you'll ever see. Or even reaches from the crypt to crush you in its icy grip. The foulest stench is in the air, the funk of 40,000 years, and grisly ghouls from every tomb are closing in to seal your doom. And though you fight to stay alive, your body starts to shiver, for no mere mortal can resist the evil of the thriller.
Get out of here. No, I'm enjoying it. Well, I can't watch.
See you next Wednesday.
The Decades of the Dead.
It's all true. The boogeyman is real, and you found him.
With Joe E. Kramer.
People are strange when you're a stranger. Faces look ugly when you're alone. Women seem wicked when you're unwanted. Streets are uneven when you're down. When you're strange, faces come out of the rain. When you're strange, no one remembers your name. When you're strange, when you're strange, when you're strange. People are strange when you're a stranger. Faces look ugly when you're alone. Women seem wicked when you're unwanted. Streets are uneven when you're down. When you're strange, faces come out of the rain. When you're strange, no one remembers your name. When you're strange, when you're strange, when you're strange. Alright, yeah. When you're strange, faces come out of the rain. When you're strange, no one remembers your name. When you're strange, when you're strange, when you're
Total Reach Radio, The Decades of the Dead. That is from the Lost Boys soundtrack. Echo and the Bunnymen, the Doors did it originally, of course, and Echo and the Bunnymen did it on the Lost Boys soundtrack. People are strange. The Decades of the Dead Halloween Spectacular of Music. We do it every single year. Mike Nesbitt joined us tonight. Somebody said, you had Mike Nesbitt on the show? I said, no, Mike Nesbitt. He is the author and paranormal investigator, of course, of the Ghosts of Gettysburg, right here in Gettysburg, Pennsylvania, only about 2 hours away. If you ever have a chance to get down there, go and take the Ghosts of Gettysburg candlelight tour. You will not be disappointed going on that tour. I can guarantee it. Now, coming up in a little bit, we're going to do a Singing with the Sam, a special edition tonight, because we're going to have the Monster Mash. You'll love it. Haunted House of Rock. Houdini.
Building to your left on the dead-end street. Find skeleton bones outside in the pavement and torture chambers down in the basement. Cobwebs hanging over your head. Music being played by the Grateful Dead. And spinning on the turntables back to back. There's no other than my main man, Wolfman Jack. The MC of the night, rapping to the tunes. What's the creature from the Black Lagoon? There's a sign on the door that can't be missed. That means enter, but at your own risk. Some people been reported going in the haunted house, but never again seen coming out. You ask me if it's true, I'll leave it up to you. Here's an invite, I hope I see you tonight. Invitations for weeks and weeks. We invited in all kinds of creeps like Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, the Addams Family and the Monster Five, the Invisible Man, Rickety B, We know he got inside the party free. One of these days they're gonna catch him red-handed, not for sneaking and free, for being a booty bandit. The bartender was cute, but kinda hairy, and Dracula was killing those Bloody Marys. He got drunk as a skunk, started trouble all night, but everybody knew his bark was bigger than his bite. It was the only place for you to be. The first 200 wishes in the party were free, and all was well until the clock struck 12. Everybody jumped up and started raising hell. And turning to the funky beat. Frankenstein was there with some crazy looking chick. I think he said her name was Voodoo on a stick. She had a big fat head and a skinny body. I wouldn't be caught with her alone. Let's known at a party. Ego was there with the monster crew. I've seen everybody there except you. Why didn't you come? Weren't you prepared? Or could it be that you were scared? It's just not fair that you couldn't be there because you really missed a lot. I'm telling you, we really brought the place down at the Haunted House of Rock.
Jalil, where you going?
Be quiet, man. Can't you see I'm trying to sneak out of here?
Word, man. Let's break up. This place is crazy.
I'm here. Yo, Ecstasy, which way you gonna run, man? This way or that way?
Yo, man, let's just get out of here. Don't make no difference which way you going.
Yes, it do.
Why?
Because I don't want to run over you.
Of the Dead Halloween Spectacular of Music. Tonight, Mark Nesbitt was with us, paranormal investigator and author of The Ghost of Gettysburg. If you missed the interview tonight, you can get it on the podcast Tuesday night, decadeswithjoeykramer.com. Also a link at 105theriver.net and Spreaker.com. And the Sam has finally arrived.
I'm here.
Move the... Okay, could you hear it?
I'm right up against it.
And the mic is here, too. We got to turn your mic.
Can you turn my headphones down a little
I'm
bit?
also here.
You guys are really exciting.
I'm so pumped.
You fell asleep.
I'm sorry.
You can't keep doing that.
Well, because they're too loud.
I know, but
and only one headphone works.
Well, then you can't keep on putting them up to the mic.
I'm sorry.
Both headphones were working before. Are they working now?
Only in one side.
Oh.
Now I don't hear anything. I don't think it has anything to do with what thing you put it in. I think it has to do with what ear is coming in.
Whatever. They were working before. But you understand that you can't put your headphones right up to the microphone. Well, no, oh my God, she's killing me. This is every week.
I still don't hear anything out of the one ear, but that's fine. No, forget it. I'll just figure it out.
she keeps taking her headphones off and putting the volume from the headphones directly against the microphone, which that happens every time.
Sorry.
You realize that?
I understand that, but I need to figure out.
Are you all good now? You all set?
This music's scaring me.
Amityville Horror.
I know what it is.
You'll see it in your dreams. All right, we're going to do the Monster Mash tonight. I've been waiting to do this, so we're going to try to perfect the Monster Mash. What mic are you on? You're on mic 3. Okay. I played it before by Faster Pussycat, but we're going to do our own rendition. I've been rehearsing my Dracula voice all night. I'm very psyched to do this, so without further ado, are you ready with your doo-wops?
I'm so excited.
I'll turn your mic up a little bit so everybody can hear you. It is the Monster Mash! And you got to do your Igor. Remember, Igor. Down, Igor. Down, Igor.
Good.
All right, here we go. Monster Mash. The Decades of the Dead. I have your liner for next week.
Good.
Or the following week, whatever. Here we go. I was working at the lab late one night when my eyes beheld an eerie sight. For my monster from his slab began to rise, and suddenly, to my surprise,
He did the mash.
he did the Monster Mash.
The Monster Mash.
It was a graveyard smash.
The did the mash.
He did the Monster Mash.
The Monster Mash.
He did the Monster Mash.
Wow.
From lavatory in the castle east to the master bedroom where the vampires feast. The ghouls all came from their humble abodes. They got a jolt from my electrodes.
Mash.
They did the Monster Mash.
The Monster Mash.
It was a graveyard smash.
It was a mash.
They got caught in a flash.
It was a mash.
It was a Monster Mash. The zombies were having fun. The party had just begun. The guests included Wolfman, Dracula, and his son. The scene was rocking, all were digging the sounds. Igor on chains, backed by his baying hounds. The coffin bangers were about to arrive with their vocal group, the Crypt Kicker 5.
He did the mash.
They did the Monster Mash.
The Monster Mash.
It was a graveyard smash.
He did the mash.
They got caught in a flash.
He did the mash.
They played a Monster Mash. Out from his coffin, Drac's voice did ring. Seems he was troubled by just one thing. He opened the lid and shook his fist and said,
Whatever happened to my Transylvania twist?
Is that a Monster Mash?
The Monster Mash.
It was a graveyard smash.
It was the mash.
It caught on in a flash.
It was the mash.
It is the Monster Mash. Now everything's cool. Drac's part of the band. And my Monster Mash is the hit of the land. For you, the living, this mash was meant to. When you get to my door, tell Kramer sent you. It was the Monster Mash.
The Monster Mash.
And do my graveyard smash.
To do the mash.
You'll catch on in a flash.
They did the mash.
You did the Monster Mash.
Ooh, good.
Oh, Igor, down, you stupendous fool, Igor.
Good.
Down, Igor, down.
Good.
Could you say anything but good?
Monster Mash.
That actually wasn't that bad. I give that like an 8. What do you think, Michael?
8, yeah, 7, 8. It was up there.
It was you didn't laugh as hard this time.
No, I was holding it back really, really hard. I almost bursted out laughing a couple times.
It was my Dracula voice.
It definitely was, yeah.
I can't roll my tongue, though. That's the problem.
I think that would have been even better if he did.
Oh, look, it's the Burger King guy.
He was the scariest thing out this year.
Is he the Burger King guy?
Yeah, I saw him.
All right, we're going to take a quick break, and then we're going to come back. I did a poll, and you can think about this really quick. The scariest horror movie of all time. I don't know what it was for you, and you don't watch any movies.
Yeah,
so,
yeah, you're right.
So we're going to talk about that next. It's Decades on Total Reach Radio, 105 The River, 104.9, and 100.7 FM, 1340 AM around the world at 105theriver.net. Decades with JoeECramer.com and the Radio Bold app. We will be right back. Hang on.
Come out, wherever you are.
telling me now you're some kind of witch or what?
The Decades of the Dead with Joe E. Kramer.
Spooky, scary skeletons and shivers down your spine. Shrieking skulls will shock your soul, seal your doom tonight. Spooky, scary skeletons speak with such a screech. You'll shake and shudder in surprise when you hear these zombies shriek.
We're so sorry, skeletons, you're so misunderstood. You only want to socialize, but I don't think we should.
A spooky, scary skeleton shouts startling, shrilly screams. They'll sneak under sarcophagus and just won't leave you be.
Decades of the Dead Halloween Spectacular, our annual tradition here at Decades. That is Spooky Scary Skeletons. That is Andrew Gold. That's a great song.
I agree.
The original was very slow, so with the beat, it has a funky beat and you can dance to it. It is the Decades of the Dead Halloween Spectacular of music. Now, earlier tonight, I asked the question, what is your favorite horror movie? And I've had it on Facebook all night. I got a ton of responses to this. What is your favorite horror
I like
movie?
The Nightmare on Elm Street.
Last night, we went to a haunted house.
That was fun.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. Last night, we went to a haunted house down at, I think it was Edwards Landscaping. It's a newer one this year. And she screamed like a girl.
He gave me up to everybody that came at us.
I was trying to pay the clown to take her, and they wouldn't do it. I guess they have
family meant nothing in the
They have a
haunted
no
house.
touching policy. But she screamed like a little girl. And you say Nightmare. Could you picture Freddy appearing in your window?
No, that's why it's the scariest.
She won't sleep unless her closet's closed.
That's true.
All right, we got a bunch of comments. So my favorite, Amityville Horror. No doubt about that. That's the scariest movie of all time. I still get scared when I watch that. Martha says, Nightmare on Elm Street. We were renting a big old 2-story house when we watched this. When it was midnight in the movie, I looked up at our clock and it said midnight as well. Just knew Freddy was going to reach through those stairs and grab us.
I would leave the house.
I know you would. Scariest movie is Primary Colors because it is the mirror image. This guy is great. Scariest movie is Primary Colors because it is the mirror image of the Clintons. I'm sorry. Where else we got here? Lisa says all the old Dracula, Frankenstein, and werewolf movies. See, you've never seen any of those.
I've seen one of the Draculas.
Yeah,
the silent
the one
Dracula.
that's the silent Dracula. Yeah, that's pretty. There's no. He's looking at us like we're. You always look like you're ready to fall asleep. Wait, go ahead. What were you gonna say?
I don't know what it is. It's just, you know.
Well, what's your favorite horror? Do you watch horror movies at all?
Not
He likes the
really.
found footage movies that
Yeah,
I was showing him.
That's my favorite
Those are
type.
fun to watch.
I
Yeah.
like the found footage movies.
It makes you feel like you're like having the experience with them.
Especially
That's why I
if you
like
go to the movies and pay for the regular seats and then sit in the
D box.
The D box
Oh,
seats.
yeah. Those are cool too.
Chris says Village of the Damned was another. The music and story made it spooky without all the blood and guts. That was a good movie. Village of the Damned. And Children of the Damned. Very good movies. Circus of Horrors. Says Wanda. I'm looking around here.
Pet Sematary
I gotta
was
read. I
freaky.
gotta read them ahead of time because I want to make sure they're not. There's no curse words in there. Jim Vance says this election is the biggest horror story. The Exorcist, The Birds. You ever saw The Birds?
I don't think so.
When all the birds are attacking the house, they can't get out of the house because there's hundreds of birds all around their house.
I don't think I want to watch this.
It's an Alfred Hitchcock movie. It's in black and white. It's great. Salem's Lot uncut. Salem's Lot was another. The Return of Salem's Lot was absolutely terrible, but Salem's Lot was. I have more answers on here, the Hillary Clinton campaign, than anything else. There's like 20 of them. I have like 200 and some responses all about politics. I don't do politics at all. All right, Decades of the Dead Halloween Spectacular of Music rolling on. Warren Zevon. It's the Werewolves of London. Could you do a werewolf sound?
Oh.
You can whack him and he'll have the same response. It's Decades on Total Reach Radio.
I saw a werewolf with a Chinese menu in his hand, walking through the streets of Soho in the rain. He was looking for the place called Lee Ho Fooks. Gonna get a big dish of beef chow mein. Ahoo, werewolves of London. Around your kitchen door, you better not let him in. Little old lady got mutilated late last night. Werewolves of London again. Ahoo, werewolves of London. Hairy-handed gent who ran amok in Kent. Lately he's been overheard in Mayfair. You better stay away from him. He'll rip your lungs out, Jim. I'd like to meet his tailor. Ahoo, werewolves of London. Ahoo, Lon Chaney walking with the Queen, doing the Werewolves of London. I saw Lon Chaney Jr. walking with the Queen, doing the Werewolves of London. I saw a werewolf drinking a pina colada at Trader Vic's. His hair was perfect. Werewolves of London. Draw blood. Werewolves of London.
This is the Decades of the Dead. Boo.
Hey, witch doctor, give us the magic words.
Alright, you go ooh ooh, ooh ah ah, ting ting, walla walla bing bang.
Alright. Ooh ee ooh ah ah, ting tang, walla walla bing bang. Ooh ee ooh ah ah, ting tang, walla walla bang bang. Ooh ee ooh ah ah, ting tang, walla walla bing bang. Ooh ee ooh ah ah, ting tang, walla walla bang bang.
Do 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 do.
I told the witch doctor I was in love with you. I told the witch doctor I was in love with you. And then the witch doctor, he told me what to do. He told me, ooh, ee, ah, ting, tang, walla, walla, bang, bang. Ooh, ee, ah, ting, tang, walla, walla, bang, bang. Ooh, ee, ah, ting, tang, walla, walla, bang, bang. Ooh, ee, ah, ting, tang, walla, walla, bang, bang. I told the witch doctor you didn't love me true. I told the witch doctor you didn't love me nice. And then the witch doctor, he gave me this advice. Ooh, ee, ah, ting, tang, walla, walla, bang, bang. Ooh, ee, ah, ting, tang, walla, walla, bang, bang. Ooh, ee, ah, ting, tang, walla, walla, bang, bang. Ooh, ee, ah, ting, tang, walla, walla, bang, bang. You can keep your love for me just like you were a miser. And I'll admit it wasn't very smart. So I went out to find myself a guy that's so much wiser. And he told me the way to win your heart. Ooh, ee, ooh, ah, ah. 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 Ting, tang, walla, walla, bang, bang. Come on and ooh, ee, ah, ah. Ting, tang, walla, walla, bang, bang. Ooh, ee, ah, ah. Ting, tang, walla, walla, bang, bang. Ooh, ee, ah, ah. Ting, tang, walla, walla, bang, bang. Ooh, ee, ah, ah. Ting, tang, walla, walla, bang, bang.
Solid Reach Radio, this is Decades. It is the Decades of the Dead Halloween Spectacular of Music. Our annual tradition here on the Big Old Show. And the Sam is still with us. Mike is still with us with the expression on his face.
Oh, yeah.
So show me a happy expression. I have a question to ask you. It's very personal.
Sure.
But I'm going to ask it on the air.
Okay.
What do you think of candy corn?
I do not like candy corn at all.
See, he's like everybody on Facebook. 136 people came in, and it's definitely no. I had like the first
Mom
10
loves candy corn.
About the first 10 or 11 people said they like it, and everybody else said, yuck, hate it. This guy likes it with peanuts.
That's weird.
I never, Laura, was it a guy? No, it's Laura. I'm sorry. Lori loves it. She mixes it with peanuts. Harold says it too, because Harold does. He's eating a handful right now. Harold's having fun with the candy corn. Unreal. We're talking about the horror movies before. My favorite movie is Amityville Horror. That is Nightmare on Elm Street are good. The first one, my favorite, was number 2.
Of course it was.
Number 2 was this gorgeous redhead was at number 2. I can't remember what her name was.
I don't remember what her name was either.
Oh, she was incredible.
We called her Redhead, so I don't know.
But she looked like Teen Witch. She was phenomenal.
Well, they got cheesier as they went on.
They
so.
did get cheesier, and then the last one that was out
I
was
liked the last one. The
New Nightmare. Yeah, the New Nightmare was really
I liked
good.
that one.
The remake was absolutely positively terrible.
I don't even remember watching.
I
the
did.
new
We
one.
watched it.
I said no, but like I think we watched it once. I don't.
Yeah,
think
it was
Like,
horrible.
I've seen the other ones.
Freddy didn't look like Freddy. He looked
Oh
like
yeah.
Freddy looked like he got hit in the face with a pan. He was
That's
flat.
true. Yeah, he didn't. He looked weird.
Yeah, it looked extremely bad. Talking about Ghostbusters before. Ghostbusters 1 was good. It's not really a horror movie, but Ghostbusters 2 was pretty bad. I watched about a half hour of Ghostbusters. The original, the new one.
I haven't seen the new one yet.
Oh my god, it was terrible.
I haven't seen the new one yet.
Have you
at
seen?
all.
You have seen it?
I've seen the first one.
He hasn't
Like,
seen
You
the
didn't
new
see
one.
the okay. You
No,
didn't
he
see
hasn't
the
seen the new one.
But probably like the Blair Witch is probably up there with it. And that movie, the movie I watched the other night that you decided not to watch, House. Phenomenal movie.
Yeah, well, you gave me a decision. We
Well,
picked one
it's
of
like
them.
it's like a spoof. It's like a comedy slash horror movie. It gets sillier and sillier as the
What about
movie
the
goes
Paranormal
on.
Activities? Don't you like those ones?
Yeah, I like the paranormal.
I mean, they got the ending. It
I
got
like number
silly.
one when Kate was in it. Thumbs up.
Yeah, I'm sure.
I like Katie. And the second one, the third one.
You like the third one with the blonde?
Yeah, but she was like 18, wasn't she?
Yeah,
Something like that.
she was like 18, 19.
I can't say anything. I'll get myself in
I'm
trouble.
sure.
Now, I like Katie, and Kate, the new Paranormal Activity is coming out next year, and Katie is in it again.
Oh, exciting! You'll probably be first in line.
I love my Paranormal Activities. Okay, the Sam's got to go because the Mike's got to go because they got to get home before 11 o'clock.
Or we'll turn into a pumpkin.
We'll turn into a pumpkin. All right,
true.
say goodbye, Sam.
Bye, Sam.
Say goodbye, Mike.
See ya.
Nature Trail to Hell, Weird Al Yankovic. This is the Decades of the Dead. Every Saturday night, Total Reach Radio.
Nature trail to hell. Nature trail to hell. Nature trail to hell. In 3D. Nature trail to hell. Take it away from the nature trail to hell. Away from the nature trail to hell. In 3D. 3D. Nature trail to hell. Nature trail to hell. Nature trail to hell. In 3D. In 3D. In 3D. In 3D.
Total Reach Radio, this is Decades, the Decades of the Dead Halloween Spectacular of Music. We do it once a year. We get to play all this cool Halloween music, a lot of stuff that you never hear on the radio. How often do you hear Nature Trail to Hell? People are probably saying, and there's a good reason for that. Had Mike Nesbitt on the show. We did the Singing with the Sam. All of this is available on the podcast. If you missed it tonight, you can always go to Spreaker.com, DecadesWithJoeEKramer.com. We have a bunch of shows filed there, so you could see a bunch of different back shows. I go back about 12 weeks. I keep on the website. So if you're bored and you have nothing else to do, you can listen to those. We got one more hour of the Decades of the Dead for this Halloween, so don't go anywhere. Next week, a normal show again, well, as normal as it gets. And then, a couple weeks, we'll be getting set for Christmas. Johnny Mathis will join us again this Christmas holiday, as he does every year. This is Decades on Total Reach Radio. We will be right back to the final hour of the Decades of the Dead. Hang on.
Tonight, Joe E. Kramer presents the Decades of the Dead Halloween Spectacular at WWRR Scranton Wilkes-Barre.
Yeah, my parents just bought a place on Elm Street.
You tell me you moved to that big white house, the bars in the window?
Yeah, what about it?
Some chick was locked in there by her mother and she went crazy.
We got special work to do here, you and me.
This is the Decades of the Dead. Now, here's your host, Joe E. Kramer.
It is the Decades of the Dead Halloween Spectacular, our annual tradition of all the great Halloween stuff, all the spooky music, I guess you could say, stuff you don't normally hear the rest of the year. We play tonight, and some of your favorites, of course. We had Mark Nesbitt on earlier from the Ghosts of Gettysburg. That's going to be available online, so you can listen to that interview if you may. But let's get the final hour of the Decades of the Dead going. The Ramones, Pet Cemetery.
Under the October with the steamboats, ancient goblins and wallows come at the grand light making a sound. The smell of death is all around. And at night when the cold wind blows, no one cares, nobody knows. I don't wanna be buried in a pet cemetery. I don't want to live my life again. I don't wanna be buried in a pet cemetery. I don't want to live my life again. Fall addicted to the sacred place. This ain't a dream, I can't escape. Molars and fangs that are picking up bones. Spirits moaning among the tombstones. And at night when the moon is bright, someone cries, something ain't right. I don't wanna be buried in a pet cemetery. I don't want to live my life again. I don't wanna be buried in a pet cemetery. I don't want to live my life again. The moon is full, the air is still. All of a sudden
sudden I feel a chill. Victor is grinning, flesh is riding away. Skeleton dance, I curse these days. And at night when the wolves cry out, listen close then you can hear me shout. I don't wanna be buried in a pet cemetery. I don't want to live my life again. I don't wanna be buried in a pet cemetery. I don't want to live my life again. Oh no. Oh no. I don't want to live my life again. Oh no. Oh, I don't want to live my life again. Oh no, no, no. Don't want to live my life
I'm scared to close my eyes. I'm scared to open them.
The Decades of the Dead with Joe E. Kramer.
is the Specials, Ghost Town, reggae-flavored pop, and they're big in the UK. And we've been to a lot of movies tonight, a lot of horror movies, a lot of horror spoofs. Gremlins, 1984, Michael Sembello and Mega Madness. It's the Gremlins. This is Decades in Total Reach Radio.
All night till we all fall down. We are here for the mega madness, super badness, mega madness, super badness tonight. I really wanna let it go. I'll never get off the floor. Never get off the floor.
This is the Decades of the Dead.
Cyndi Lauper, another soundtrack song from the Goonies. Who doesn't like the Goonies? Sean Astin and Corey Feldman, of course, was in that one. Josh Brolin, Cary Green, Martha Plimpton. Very cool stuff. And it was a huge success in 1985. I mean, it really was a gigantic success for the time. And there's been talks for years of a Goonies sequel. In fact, in 2011, it was a certainty it was going to happen. And haven't heard much about it lately, so who knows. Nightmare on Elm Street, which you hear in the background here, sequel to that one is coming out. They're trying to find somebody to write a script, I guess. Who knows? And Robert Englund not coming back. I wouldn't either. They ditched him for the remake, which that new Freddy was absolutely terrible. And I guess they did want him to come back for a sequel, but who knows? Who knows? All right, thanks for joining me again tonight, The Decades of the Dead. We do this every year at Halloween. Gave you a night full of Halloween songs, getting you ready. Last year, this Saturday fell on Halloween night. Now tomorrow, Mischief Night, of course. Does anybody mischief anymore? I know when we were kids, I mean, I never did it because I would have got killed if I went out my soaped a window or anything, but I think kids are too afraid to do it now. Because you soap a window, you'll probably go to jail for 5 or 6 years. Who knows? But a lot of parties going on this weekend, so make sure you're safe when you're out to those. And, of course, Halloween night on Monday. And then it's like Christmas is here. Because, you know, everybody skips over Thanksgiving. I, myself, have a huge Christmas display, and I'll be starting to put it up this week. I know. The way it is. More decades coming up as we slowly wind down the Decades of the Dead 2016 right here on Total Reach Radio.
Come out, wherever you are.
Telling me now you're some kind of witch or what? Let's go out and rock.
I don't want to be a freak, but I can't help myself.
You are a freak.
The Decades of the Dead with Joe E. Kramer.
Keep on walking that road and I'll follow. Keep on calling my name, I'll be there. And if a mirror should break, it's easy to take. Deep down I know that you care. Well, I'm not superstitious. No. I'm not superstitious. I have no doubt that there's a reason how things turn out. While things are changing from day to day, well, I keep this feeling with me all the way. And I want you to know that you're on my mind every day, all of the time. So keep on walking that road and I'll follow. Keep on calling my name, I'll be there. Yeah. And if a mirror should break, it's easy to take. Deep down I know that you care. Well, I'm not superstitious. No. There might be times I wonder when I'm on my own, trying to find out if love has gone. It might make a difference, it might bring me down, but no superstition is gonna turn things around. And I want you to know that you're on my mind every day, all of the time. So keep on walking that road and I'll follow. Keep on calling my name, I'll be there. Yeah. And if a mirror should
precious.
This is the Decades of the Dead. Are you scared?
of the Dead. Halloween Spectacular music. That is another movie, Killer Clowns from Outer Space, and the group is called The Dickies. Right here on Decades, the Decades of the Dead. George Thorogood and the Destroyers. You know this one.
Well, I saw the thing coming out of the sky. Had a one long horn and a one big eye. I commenced to shaking and I said, hoo-wee. It looks like a purple people eater to me. It was a one-eyed, one-horse flying purple people eater. Purple People Eater sure looks strange to me. Well, he came down to earth and he lit in a tree. I said, Mr. Purple People Eater, don't eat me. I heard him say in a voice so gruff,
I wouldn't eat you 'cause you're too tough.
it was a one-eyed, one-horned, flying Purple People Eater. A one-eyed, one-horned, flying Purple People Eater sure looks strange to me. I said, Mr. Purple People Eater, what's your line? He said, eating purple people and it sure is fine. But that's not the reason that I came to land.
I wanna get a job in a rock and roll band.
Well, bless my soul, rock and roll, flying Purple People Eater, pigeon toed, undergrowth, flying Purple People Eater. Pretty little people eater, what a sight to see. And then he swung from the tree and lit on the ground. And he started to rock, really rocking around. It was a crazy ditty with a swinging tune. Well, bless my soul, rock and roll, flying Purple People Eater, pigeon toed, undergrowth, flying Purple People Eater. Flying Purple People Eater sure looks strange to me. And then he went on his way, and then what do you know? I saw him last night on a TV show. He was a blowing it out, a really knocking on bed, playing rock and roll music through the horn in his head.
The Decades of the Dead.
Happy, happy Halloween, 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 happy, happy Halloween, Silver Shamrock.
With Joe E. Kramer.
The moon.
Those that the beast is looking
The Decades of the Dead with Joe E. Kramer.
in a marching band. Hey! And it's hysterical. That's Doctor in the TARDIS.
You have
We don't want to play that one. Got to get a good bed to leave you with here. But I was talking about the. Oh, there's the Amity Vihar. There we go. That's a good one. Doctor in the TARDIS. That's the Time Lords. Played that in a marching band. It was big. That's how long. Now I feel old. It was released in 1988, and basically they're the KLF, if you've heard of them from the 80s. Billy Drum and John Cotty, they both said, we want to show people how easy it is to make a #1 record. So on the front of the CD single, they just had a car, looked kind of like a police car, and it said, "Hi, I'm Ford Time Lord. I'm a car, and I've made a record." They then followed it up with a book called The Manual How to Have a #1 the Easy Way. True story, telling how to make a #1 hit. They actually did that with the intent of wanting it to go to #1, and it was released on the very short-lived CD-V single. It was a CD video that you could put into your computer and actually see the video. It's very strange. But it hit #1 in like 12 countries or so. In the United States, I believe it went top 50. If I'm not mistaken, U.S. right here. 16 dance, 17 modern rock, and 66 on the Billboard Hot 100. So there you go. And that's going to do it. Man, it went by so quick. I think during the summer, Halloween will be here before you know it. Christmas will be here for you before you know it, and another Halloween show gone. Mark Nesbitt, got to thank him. He's a paranormal investigator. He's an author of The Ghost of Gettysburg. Thank Mark so much for doing the interview on a very short notice, too. So it was great. You want to hear that interview, it'll be available on the website, decadeswithjoeykramer.com. The whole show will be there by Monday night or Tuesday, so make sure you check it out. Next Saturday night, we'll be back at it. All regular here. Well, as regular as Decades gets. And Michael Sweet from Stryper will be joining us on the show, so you do not want to miss it. Have yourself a safe and happy Halloween on Monday, and stay out of the mischief on Mischief Night, and I will talk to you next Saturday night. This is Decades on Total Reach Radio, 105 The River, 104.9 and 100.7 FM, 1340 AM, and around the world at 105theriver.net, decadeswithjoeykramer.com, and the worldwide Radio Bold app. Have a great week.